Hey, what is up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here tonight as I sit here in my kitchen making orange chicken. Basically the rumor of the day, actually this has been the rumor of the week, and it seems like every day this rumor gets a little bit more and more people behind it, more people talking about it. Honestly, this is going to be a video where honestly I just started to kill off a rumor. It's not that I don't want to see it, I just honestly don't believe it's going to happen. But there's rumors out there that go in a few different directions. There's rumors out there basically saying that Kurt Angle has been contacted to be a contestant in the 2017 30-man Royal Rumble. And there's people that take this as far as saying that Kurt Angle is going to be coming back at the Royal Rumble and getting a WrestleMania push involving a WrestleMania storyline as well as a WrestleMania match. I honestly cannot find a true source of this rumor other than just people just starting to talk on Twitter. There are wrestling websites that are not as I guess you can say you can't really believe everything that they say. It's almost like they take fan-written fiction stories and turn them into it. It's nothing that goes back to the Torch or Wrestling Observer or Figure 4 Weekly or anything that really is believable. So I don't know where this story is coming from. We've heard quotes from Kurt Angle, from people talking to him at conventions or wrestling shows, basically saying that he is heading back to WWE as soon as possible. He's basically said that he's going to be part of different WrestleMania shows. He's tweeted the fact that he wants to have his last match in WWE. And as of right now, it really looks as if him and TNA have split ties. Kurt Angle is wrestling sporadic independent shows here and there along the way. Kurt Angle had matches against Rey Mysterio, against Cody Rhodes. He's going to be wrestling Alberto Del Rio on the 2nd of January. So Kurt is actively out there looking for dates to wrestle. I'm sure that there is things that go along with it, whether if they're going to meet his demands. I'm sure that a Kurt Angle appearance at a wrestling show isn't going to be cheap. He is definitely one of the biggest names involved in pro wrestling. He is a true legend of the sport. It's only a matter of time before he is brought back to WWE for a Hall of Fame spot. But I don't know. Out of everybody that is out there, it is almost like Kurt Angle is treated almost like Sting. Where Sting, was involved with TNA, and he was that one guy that fans wanted to jump the line more than anybody else because of the fact that he wrestled for WCW for all those years and never came to WWE. Kurt, had a bad time in his life. According to his side of the story, Vince wouldn't give him time off to get better and, get off of the things that he was on. So they ended up finding a way to have a release. And the WWE is almost like the Jeff Hardy thing. They thought he would go home, he'd get better, and then once he was able to wrestle again and wanted to be back on the road, he'd call, and they'd be there, and they'd just pick up where they left off, and off to the races they would go. But instead, Dixie Carter and TNA called, and Kurt jumped to TNA, and there was a time period of 2005, maybe 2006, but definitely not after that. I mean, TNA drastic, those diehard TNA fans might have thought in 2010 that they really had a chance against WWE with Eric Bischoff coming in as well as Hulk Hogan. But I think most people would know that they were far, far away from being able to compete with WWE. But they were going to try, and it lasted for a few weeks before TNA and Spike Television shut down the Monday Night Wars of 2010. But I don't know. I want to see Angle come in. I maybe I'm not that big on Kurt Angle having a match in WWE, but Kurt Angle coming in and definitely having a moment in the Royal Rumble, I don't feel like is that far off from something that could happen. I don't believe it's going to happen. I think that Kurt Angle is one of those guys that I'm going to have to see come out, have an entrance and get into the ring before I believe that he's going to have a match. I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, the quote from Dave Meltzer is that Vince McMahon doesn't want to be the guy to have an Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle, die on his watch. I know that Kurt Angle isn't really, a household name in most houses, but an Olympic gold medalist dying is going to get time on the nightly news, whether it's CBS or NBC. It's going to get picked up. It's going to be a story. And then, that, Olympic gold medalist being involved with wrestling, and that being, wrestling for Vince McMahon, is going to be a big story as well. And then also having a past history of drug addiction. The story gets bigger and bigger as it goes along. The easy way out for a lot of people is saying that Kurt Angle is going to be the manager slash wrestler, sort of Freebirds kind of guy, to team up with Jordan and Gable. And that does make a lot of sense with their wrestling background and their sort of characters that they have. To me, honestly, when you look at them winning the tag titles on the last episode of SmackDown, it sort of shows you that, American Alpha doesn't need Kurt Angle. Definitely it would be a help, but these guys were able to go out there and win the tag titles on their own. There was a little part of me in my gut that maybe thought that, the one reason why American Alpha wasn't getting the push that they were looking for was that they would bring in Kurt Angle to put them over the top. But we've been able to see that that's not needed. So I don't know where they go from here. So, also, Kurt Angle comes in. He's in the Royal Rumble. He doesn't really need a feud. But for the people that think he's going to be a part of WrestleMania 33, who's he going to wrestle? Daniel Bryan's not walking through that door. That'd be one hell of a match, but it's just not going to happen. I think that honestly, him versus Triple H has a history behind it, but Triple H looks like he's going to be fighting Seth Rollins. So where does Kurt Angle fit into WrestleMania 33? I don't see it. So we'll see what's going down with everybody. Got my orange chicken coming out of the oven in a few minutes, so I'll check that out. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, everybody.